93% of first impressions are based on visual appearance because that's
Yeah.
the easiest thing to judge someone by.
Just like a dating site. You go on a dating
Yeah.
site and these people write all these long stories. I look at a dating site and I say, oh, yo, good, no, or okay, maybe, or oh no. And then, oh no, oh no. It's just so quick the way we see people,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
So quick.
And not
It's
necessarily in
immediate.
a true way, but
No,
unfortunately, that's how we're judging. And
the way it is
first
today.
impressions can be taken as easily as 1/10 of a second. Passion, inspiration, determination. Welcome to our program. Jump into it.
Prosper with purpose.
Welcome to Jump Into It, where we spotlight women who are turning vision into momentum and truly prospering with purpose. Today's guest brings a beautiful blend of creativity, evolution, and strategy to show how we can show up in the world. Caryn Silverstein was a Montreal based photographer who began a career in fashion, capturing style, movement, and identity, and has since evolved into specializing in personal branding photography, helping entrepreneurs and professionals show up with confidence, clarity, and authenticity. What I love about Caryn's journey is her commitment to staying curious, continuing to evolve, helping others to be truly seen, not just visually, but in how they express who they are and what they stand for. Today, we're diving into the personal branding, confidence on camera, and how the right imagery can elevate not just your presence, but your business. Thank you, Caryn, for joining in on Jump Into It.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful. Quite a surprise. Well, I'm so happy to meet you. And I've never done a podcast before. So let's see how this goes.
Well, you have a voice for it. You really do.
Thank
And I thought, her wealth of information and knowledge and her history, I thought you make an amazing guest because so many
thank you.
people are now trying to understand the power of personal brand, how they can show up better. Because when you show up and you're not just a logo and not just a corporate image, but you are your own personal brand that demonstrates leadership in your business, then you really stand out among the competition and people want to connect with you. People want to connect with human beings and not just logos. So my first question is, can you tell us about your journey, how you got there? So how you evolved into personal branding from being a fashion photographer to where you are today?
Okay, so as a fashion photographer, I think it really shaped my vision and it gave me an opportunity to, live free and have fun. It was the days where we didn't have social media, so there was a lot of, print work. It was very, very exciting times. I had children and I moved down to Toronto and I found myself with two young children and I kind of fell into the events business and I really didn't know what I was doing. I met a friend and they taught me the whole business. And I worked the events business for probably till the pandemic hit. And what it taught me was how to photograph people in every situation. And
Mhm.
it taught me how to move very quickly and how, to work on the fly and how to make something out of nothing. Because a lot of times you're stuck with like, ooh, this isn't so pretty around here. How do I make it look great? And I actually, in 2020, when the pandemic hit, my events business was decimated. It was incredible. I lost so much that year. And I thought to myself, you have a lot more talent than what you're doing now. It really should expand yourself. And I decided to go more into personal branding and, headshots and personal branding since I was already doing that. And what evolved from that moment was I realized that everything is digital. And, we're all on our phones. We scroll so fast, right? What
Yeah.
makes you stop on an image? Well, it has to be something. Either it's authentic or the caption line really makes you think, or it's kind of slightly out of the box, but not yet fully, not to the point where it's like questionable, but slightly out of the box. What makes you stop on social media? And this has been my goal to get people to stop and look at what the client is saying with their image. So I talk about curating. and curating images. So when we have an image and we're trying to develop our brand, what is that image saying? What can you put to that image? How can you make people stop and then read? Because they're not going to read it until they stop. So this has been my goal. And it's been a very interesting journey. So now I really specialize in understanding how people want to show up and being able to take that visual and attach it to their brand, where I'm giving you a little bit of extra zest to really send that message across. So you had mentioned to me something about your brand. And then I said to you, well, why don't you do this? And you thought, wow, that's a really fun idea. So I like to add that little fun punch to every idea or every thought the client has about their business. And sometimes it's also, listen, we have to plan our photo shoots. Sometimes it's fun just to work in the moment as well. But usually we plan everything. The best photo shoots are super planned, very well planned. So we work with mood boards, work with ideas and concepts. We narrow it down to the time frame we have. You know, your clothing, your props, your personal self and how you look and how you want to show up. And then I take it from there and I elevate that from there. It's a lot of fun. I'm still really thriving and really enjoying it. And if any creative throw anything creative that somebody can throw at me, I just eat it alive. I love when they only have like one idea and then I build it into this gigantic thing. And they're like, how did you get from there to there? And I'm like, I don't know. I took a lot of showers, washed my hair, and all these ideas came flying out.
Because one thing you do, you're not just sitting behind the camera and making sure the lighting is correct. You're bringing
No, what it is, and my eye is there. You know, I could work with a Polaroid camera. I don't need, all kinds of things. I have an eye. I know how to make people, I know right away when I'm photographing you how you look your best. I will coach you and talk to you and tell you to do this and to do that where you actually look your best self. I can see it immediately.
So, what do you think entrepreneurs are doing their biggest mistake around personal branding and imagery and how showing up?
Just, they're just using too many iPhones. It's really messy. A lot of people's feeds, they're, they're not professional enough. And that really always throws me, or they're using too much AI, where it's obvious it's AI. And,
Mm.
we're in an era now where AI is fantastic for certain things, but when it comes to a personal brand, I really believe that we won't be replaced. I really believe that authenticity sells, and everybody believes that as well that I talk to in this world. That, AI will replace or add to other jobs or replace other jobs. But as far as your authentic self, no one can do the best job but you. And no one can do it but you. AI can enhance you, but the
It can't
preliminary really
replace you. It can't
can't
replace
replace
you.
you. We
That's
can't. We can't be
yeah.
replaced. Exactly. That expression, that laughter, that thing you're saying in the video, or that expression you have in the photo. Those are all things people catch on to. So it's the subtleties.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
what would you say to someone who like they're camera shy, they're, you know,
Oh,
I mean,
I
we,
always get that. Listen, put
yeah.
me in front of a camera. I'm like, I'm a complete dork. I don't even know what to do, even though I have so much experience. So I am a great coach. I try to make you feel at ease. I love playing music during my photo shoots. I think it makes people like feel good and it gets the groove on. And then I always direct, regardless, even if you're really experienced and you don't need direction, then you don't have to. But I always direct. The majority of my clients, I'm directing them the entire time. And I also love to share in camera. So when we really got it, I want to show them when they really have it. And sometimes I say, okay, you sort of have it. Take a look at this, but let's do that. And then you're going to really get it. So it's a process and we work together. But at ease, I try to make you, feel good and feel good about yourself. And the most important thing is to enjoy your process. That you feel like, this was really special. I enjoyed my process of going through everything. It was exciting. And you felt a
Mhm.
part of it. Not that the photographer kind of took over and said, do this, do that, stand like this, stand like that, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very, I like to work with people and how they feel comfortable.
Because I used to do some fashion photography when I was younger, and it was really very stiff, and only a good photographer really can bring that light into
Exactly.
your face to create that moment, as
That's just a
opposed to just the
little
lighting is
different.
perfect, the fingers
Yeah.
positioned right.
Well, it's not just
So
that. The clothes have to fall
yeah,
properly in fashion, so sometimes it is a little
yeah.
stiffer. I always say, okay, we're going to do this kind of candid shot, but we're going to fake it. Everything we do candid fake style so that we look like we're candid, but we're not really candid. It's not a candid moment. It's a curated moment of looking candid. That's how you get the best shots. And people that don't have confidence, I know it's scary. I don't like the camera personally. I have never. That's why I don't even have a really regular profile picture, because I don't have any pictures of me. I just don't like. I don't know why. It's scary to me, right? And then
Mm.
here I am taking thousands and thousands of pictures of people, and giving them confidence when I should take a dose of it myself sometimes, right? So I really get you when you say it's a scary moment to have your photo done. I
Yeah.
hear
I
you.
mean, you brought a lot of things up, and you can't always have a professional fashion photographer in front of you to take those moments. And so there's going to be, and I think there's going to be a blend, or
Yeah.
direction around what is authentic in the moment. Maybe it's an event that you're having. It's, you just want to capture that feeling, and then you have the professional imagery. And I don't think AI can be totally excluded from when it
No.
comes to imagery, because AI can take your really good shot and then
Yes.
be able to put it into different scenery. So it's kind
Absolutely.
of like,
That's Yeah, exactly. You have to work with the two of them together. You take the really good
yeah.
shots. So it comes down to, Gabrielle, it's called content library. When you work with a photographer and you have an ongoing business, your business goes through an evolution. And sometimes you need this, and sometimes you need that, and sometimes you need another thing. Okay. But over time, if you had a content library, meaning that you had photo shoots that were done on a quite a regular basis, where you would have shorter photo shoots, but do a lot of photos, all those photos become now your content library. So let's say we've now done 4 or 5 shoots. You can still go back to shoot one and see a photo that goes exactly with what you want to say today, and it's from the very first shoot that we did. And I have a client that I've worked with, and we did probably, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 shoots. And every once in a while, I see that she pulls up a photo from the very, very first shoot that we did. And it makes me feel good, because I realize that, sometimes you go right away and you say, I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that. But then when you go back a few months later, you'll see so much more. It's really funny how that works. You'll see a lot more that you like, that you go, wow, I can't believe I missed this one. So what's the most important for an entrepreneur is to create a content library. And that's why branding photographers like to have clients on retainers. Because what happens is, for a client who's very serious about creating content and they want photo video mix, if they did an every month or every 2 month type of photo shoot, and they amortize those costs throughout the year, then the client would actually have a tremendous amount of content for the year. And amortizing, obviously, the photo shoots every couple of months, it would be less expensive, over time, right? So a lot of people work with photographers like myself, and they have continuous content shoots, so that there's lots of content in your library. You pick and choose. You're constantly pumping out content. Maybe people are putting out 3, 4 posts or in their different medias all day long. And we are. I'm so lucky,
Mhm.
because I just like have this huge content library, and I could just pick from any shoot. But I can't imagine, God, I don't even know how many photos I have, hundreds of thousands. But you have to
For an
see
entrepreneur
things
that
on a
is starting
long
out,
term.
yeah.
For a
So
startup
yeah,
person, it's perfect.
yeah.
For an entrepreneur that's established and serious and has momentum going, they should consider doing things more on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. For people who are just looking for a refresh, a good, hour and a half photo shoot will really do it for them. It just depends on what you need. And everybody's needs are different. That's why my packages kind of fluctuate. People say, "What are your packages?" I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's see what your needs are first.
And you know, one of the things in the exercise that I can share here is that I did when I thought, okay, I'm gonna do a photo shoot to be able to look at. So it's sort of like, how do I want to show up? What are the moods that I want to portray? What are the certain, you know, ways that I want to portray them? And these are like almost like subsets of personas, right? So it's
Yeah,
authentically you, but there's different lenses of you.
of
And
course.
right, and you, like, we're a kaleidoscope, so there's many aspects of who we are, but we're not going to want to show up all of the aspects. Like, we're not going to necessarily want to show some of the, you know, the sides that are not going to make an impact on building that image, or you know,
Exactly.
that if you
Yeah.
want to define yourself as a leader in a certain industry, or a career, you, or you know, or within your business, there's certain aspects of yourself you don't want to have pictures taken of you. I'm thinking, you know, for somebody that's starting, is that they're going to want to narrow it down to a few
Yeah.
sides of themselves that they want to show up, that are relatable, that are going to build on their brand, that's going to make them, however you want to define it, is professional, competent, an expert in their field, relatable, someone that you may want to invite to a cocktail party or for dinner, but then also want to call up when you really have a problem in their field of expertise.
So most of the time when somebody's just starting a business, they need their proper profile shot, right? And they need their shots for their website. So some content curated shots for that. They need stuff to start themselves on social media. But LinkedIn is a very different platform from Instagram. So
Mhm.
there has to be some equal time spent per platform, right? Because how you're showing up on LinkedIn is definitely not the way you're showing up on Instagram. Instagram is much racier. You can have much more fun with that. You can still be corporate, but it could be much more intense, let's say. And LinkedIn has a more corporate approach. So I would take that more corporate approach for LinkedIn. So I would think that a 2 hour shoot would cover it. I think in 2 hours, you could probably change three, hopefully four times. I would hope four times
Mhm.
that we can
Mhm.
change, just depending
Mhm.
on
Okay.
where we are, what we're doing. Nice weather is coming, which I really love. So, being able to take people outside and shoot and just, bring a couple of jackets, bring a coat to put over it, bring sunglasses, bring a cool hat. So sometimes we can just build on one outfit and accessorize it. I like to help people with their styling. People have a really hard time with that. And that's where my
Yeah.
fashion life comes in, and how, my fashion career and all growing up in Montreal, it really helps people say, Ikes, okay, this is what you need to go buy. Just like this. Try to find a suit or a this similar to that. And then they come up with it. It's great. So I'm able to help people make some choices for themselves where maybe they wouldn't have made that choice for themselves. They
Yeah.
would have been
Yeah.
maybe a little too afraid to make that choice.
You give them that extra bit of courage and confidence so that they
Yeah,
show up their better half of themselves.
let's show up where people are actually going back to that same conversation about how do we stop the scroll? How do you get
Yeah.
people to stop and look at you? You have to look
Yeah.
fantastic, right? How do I make you look fantastic? It's a combination of things, right? Your hair, your makeup, the lighting, the angles, the expression, the what you're doing in the shot, and how that all comes out, right? In the moment.
Mhm. And I just wanted to because the impact of imagery is so strong. I just wanted to share.
Everything.
So, LinkedIn profiles with professional photos get up to 20 times more profile views and 34 times more messages. And so that just
Real.
shows you, just through having the proper professional imagery, how powerful that is on that platform.
I totally think it's true. I work a lot on LinkedIn and I speak to a lot of professionals. And a lot of these people that come to me, I mean, the girl that's coming to me tomorrow, I don't think she's had her headshot done for 15 years. She doesn't even look like that. That's the problem. It's almost misrepresentation. You have this
Mm,
headshot from 15 years ago. Yeah, you look great. But then you show up. Okay. And they're like, oh, who are you? So you
exactly.
don't want
But the
that.
dating app, right? It's the bad dating
Exactly. It's like the bad date. You're like at the table and then the guy shows up and you're like, what? Did I
Yeah,
apply
yeah,
for
yeah.
this?
Okay. Did you bring your dad? No. Right.
Exactly. So it's like we have to be very current. If you haven't updated your LinkedIn profile within the past like 5 years, you need a new headshot.
Oh, I would say 1 year. You have to update it every year.
Oh, I don't know. I
I
don't look
would
that
say.
different from
I
year to
don't know.
year at this age, at this age. But maybe when I was younger was different. But at this age, I don't change too much. I would say 3 years would be more than enough for people to look pretty much the same, unless you have a change in look. Like
Yeah.
if you change your hair and you cut it and you color it a different color, and then you have a headshot where you have brown hair. I have a client, just shot her headshot. She has beautiful gray curly hair. It's gorgeous, her hair. Her headshot on LinkedIn is like this little brown bob. I'm like, who's that woman? I didn't even recognize her when
Yeah,
she
yeah.
showed
I
up.
see it.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
see it
Oh,
all the
I see it on
time.
podcasts. Like they have the picture on LinkedIn. They show up on podcasts, and you're okay.
Okay,
They
you
still
don't
look
look like
good,
that.
but like you have to think: is it did the right person
It's
show up for this? Right? Yeah,
misrepresentation of your personal
yeah,
self.
yeah.
What
And
it
that's
is
branding, right?
everybody
Yeah.
looks at the profile picture before they want to meet you. If they
Hmm.
see something that they just hits them the wrong way, whether it's like an old photo or not a good photo, it's very dark or it's all the rest of the stuff, they're less likely to try to make a connection with you. It is extremely important to be current. It is extremely important to have a bright, good, it doesn't have to be a studio shot for a headshot. It could be a cooler headshot. It could be a lifestyle headshot. It
Hmm.
just depends on what you do for a living and how you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
be seen,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, and it's. I mean, we live in a world where we're judged first by our
Yeah.
impressions, our visual impressions, right? 93% of first impressions are based on visual appearance because that's the
Yeah.
easiest thing to judge someone by.
Just like a dating site. You go on a dating
Yeah.
site and these people write all these long stories, right? I look at a dating site and I say, oh, yo, good, no, or okay, maybe, or oh no, and then oh no, right? It's just so quick the way we see people.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah.
So quick.
And not
It's
necessarily in
immediate.
a true way, but
No,
unfortunately, that's how we're judging, right? And it's like,
the
and
way it is
first
today.
impressions can be taken as easily as 1/10 of a second. That's how fast it is that we get an impression from someone. And 93% is based on image. So that unfortunately is the strong reason for personal brand investment in personal branding, starting with imagery.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the most important thing is just to keep it fresh, keep it creative, not being like everybody else doesn't work. When you are unique, because we all are unique creatures. And when we are ourselves and truly ourselves, that's when someone out there will feel you and see you. When you're trying too hard to be like someone else, they also see that too. So,
Mhm.
as I said, it's very important to be your authentic self and to get your energy going in a positive way where you're planned, you're organized, you've got everything under control for your shoot, you've got your outfits, your moods, your ideas, your concepts, your props. It all comes together in a short period of time. It moves extremely quickly, a photo shoot. But that is where I come back to saying we are creating curated content. It's not random, it's
Mhm.
curation.
What trends are you seeing right now with personal branding and with photography? I know we talked about AI and how
Yeah,
it can
there's
be
some AI,
manipulated.
but there's a blend. And as we said, as long as you have the great image to put that great image into something still works in with the AI.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of talk about authenticity out there. And it's just what everybody's the buzzword out there. And I get it now.
Mhm.
Because when we are our true selves, that's when people can grasp us and feel us, right? Whoever you are. We don't all look the same or want to say, we're not all saying the same message, but we want people to hear what we have to say. And
Mm.
that's how, first, we got to get them to stop on that photo, right? And once we
So
get them
what
to
would you say
stop,
would be the three things you would focus on? I mean, you say stop, but to someone that's saying, "Hey, I want to have personal branding. I want to look professional. I want to show up. I want to be relatable." And
yep,
you have to, and then you're
okay,
want to stop. It's like,
your wardrobe is key, absolutely key. Okay, because our clothes, as we said, that visual impression for the first moment is where we are, right? So our wardrobe is so key. And our hair and makeup is appropriately done for women. Okay, men, yes, styled again, your wardrobe. I've seen so many men, they show up, they're not groomed properly, they're a mess. Okay, nothing more I hate than taking hair out of nose and ears with Photoshop. Okay. Need I say more, men?
salon. I was watching that. I was like, it's
It's
somebody's
so
job,
gross.
right? It's like,
It's so gross.
yeah,
And
yeah,
men do not do enough personal grooming. They don't take enough care. There's whatever they're wearing to their shoot a lot of times is just basically what they wore to the office that day. Some of them
yeah.
take more care than others, but they tend to have a wife that organizes that for them. But I say to men, personal grooming is key. But for women, your clothes, what you're wearing, you can just be standing there like a statue and people will just read your story based on what you're wearing, how your hair and makeup is done. They'll just look at you and read your story,
So what would be
which is
the
good
big
and
mistake
bad,
you're saying?
right? Because they don't know
Yeah,
who you
yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
your hair, your makeup, your wardrobe, and then how you're presenting yourself, whether, how you stand, how you pose, or whether it's an action shot, or whether we'd have to decide based on what your audience is. It can't just be a random decision. It has to be surrounding about your business. So if we're talking about you, it's very different than me talking to one of my other clients. He's an artist. He makes things like he made this beautiful lamp. Like, how do I photograph it with him in it? Right?
So who do you like working with? Like, who are your favorite people when it comes to helping build a personal brand?
Like, in regards to like stylists and hair and makeup people. I mean,
Connect with like working with your client. Like, what are your favorite clients, and what
well,
makes them so enjoyable to work with and that you connect really well with?
the clients that I've worked with are the clients that give the time to curating their clothes and get the proper prompts and all that stuff. Clients that come in and think they've all got it in the bag but they don't bring anything with them.
Mhm.
They're hard to work with, right? Because it's like, okay, I have this and I have one more jacket. Didn't we? I like to have it all really organized. So my favorite clients are people that love the same stuff as I love, right? They love the small details. They're going, okay, well, I'm going to bring 3 pairs of earrings because, you guys are going to say, we're all going to decide which pair of earrings looks the best with this, right? And
Mhm,
I
mhm.
love people that are organized and planned. That's my thing too. Ideas are not my issue. I dream of them all day long. It's a lot of fun. Creativity it's limitless. And I think that's why I've always been a photographer because I like the idea of taking something so small and building it into a giant dream. I once had a fashion shoot for someone. The whole premise of the shoot was white. What I turned that into was mass insanity. Okay, I just went to the max in my mind and I did it. And it was great. So I think, that's
You're leaving
where,
us hanging there, Karen. What did you do with all white?
oh my God, it was a whole thing. Okay, so it was based on an event, and we did all these really cool outfits. We did a whole tribute to David Bowie with like zigzag, down the side of the face with special makeup. And it was just, the whole thing was just so crazy. It was like leaping through the air, and then there was masks hiding behind, like outfits that were just absolutely over the top crazy, okay, like beyond fantastic, right? And it just turned into snowballed into this incredible event because we had all these awesome photos. So they did a video, and there was all kinds of things that were done with the imagery, and of course, books and things like that afterwards. So that was pretty
Well, that's
exciting.
definitely not all white. That's
It
I
was
don't see
pretty
any
much
white in there. It's
all white. It
just
was
the
pretty much, we
canvas.
added some purple because purple's a good complementary color, but it was pretty
Yeah.
much all white outfit. It was nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, to try
Wow.
to find that much all white clothing
Yeah. Yeah.
that works and that's exciting. I know, but white on white it's a lot of fun to like even to shoot, right? Because like that's a big challenge for a photographer. How do you make white
Mm-hmm.
clothes stand out on a white background? It works.
So someone wants to learn more about your services because I think what I really liked in hearing from you is that, like I was saying earlier, is that you're not just a person behind a camera. You bring ideas to life and create a story from an
Absolutely.
image, and as you said, ideas and being really creative is not always easy for people, right? They're
No.
they're shy, they're camera shy, their mind is blank. All they know
Most
your hair washed before you show up, right? So and you bring that to life, and you invest in understanding the person. You invest in the time to meet with them ahead, to be able to have this planned shoot so that this whole story comes alive in front of the
right.
camera. And that is not all
Exactly.
photographers do that. They just say, here's a time slot, here's your requirements, just show up. And that's
Yeah.
not something that
But then you
you
don't
have
get a
so
great
much more
shoot.
credible
You
about.
don't get a great
No,
shoot out of
no,
that.
right?
You
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
And then how do you
yeah.
connect to these people? Like there's such a connection process with photographers and their subjects. If I like you and you like me and we have a little thing going on, it shows. It shows. When I say look into the lens, like you're looking at me and we're connecting, even though there's, a piece of equipment between us, but it doesn't matter at that point, right? And that's how I connect with people. I think to me it's about connection. It's been so many years, right? And so many different things that I've lived through in this industry. This chapter is one of my favorites, that's for sure. I,
Is
I
there
definitely
anything
think it's a
yes, is there
chapter.
anything you do to stay curious and alive and come up
I
with
don't know what it
ideas to,
is. I take a lot
yeah.
of I feel like when I wash my hair, I have the best ideas. I think of the craziest best ideas in the shower. Like if a client calls me and they're like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do it? I love to like research on Instagram and create like storyboards and mood boards of ideas that I like that I've seen before and gives me a little food for thought. It will literally go through my head all day, all night, even in my sleep of what I can do for this person on how I can make this shoot great for them. And also the the more I do personal branding, the better my work becomes, right? Because I've already sort of cultivated to a photographer's level after just it's a really long time. I say 30, but I really don't want to date myself more than that. But it took all these years to just be so at ease with my work, right? I think one of the biggest compliments somebody said to me once was, you look like you're doing nothing, but the pictures are so good. I said, thank you. That's just so great, because
That's when
I
you know
I
you've
know
mastered it, right? When it looks so
exactly.
easy and nobody can replicate it. Yeah.
No, no, exactly. How did they get the lighting just so? How did they get the expressions? How does it all look so, composed? There's composition, there's all kinds of aspects when you're shooting, right? How the lighting hits the person. There's a million different things that I look at. What I see, you don't want to see. Okay. I just see way too much. Okay. And yeah, and then I go from there, right? So yeah, I see a lot more than most people. And that's how I create beautiful photos.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. If somebody
Thank you.
wants to learn more about your services or, how to get in contact with you,
Sure,
How would
just
they
go
go
to
about
my
doing that?
website. I don't know if you can post it on there, but it's my name, Caryn Silverstein, but I spell my name with a C and a Y. So it's Caryn, Caryn, Silverstein.com. Even if you put in photographer Karen, you'll find me. Toronto, you will find me. I probably have 10 pages of Google on me. So I have two websites. One's more geared towards events, one's for personal branding. Go onto the one that just has my name, and that's a personal branding site. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and that's how you find me. I'm
Thank you,
everywhere.
Karen. Karen's in Toronto, Canada.
Travel for work sometimes, out of the city. Somebody just asked me to go to Collingwood.
Thank you for such a powerful perspective on personal branding. One question we always ask our guests if is that what does prosperity with purpose mean for you?
I think that's the kind of the point I'm in my life right now. Because I've developed over time, okay, you know, prosperity for me is being accomplished not just financially, but also being accomplished to, creating the best photograph that I can still shoot. I still try so hard all the time. I don't know why, but I always try to sort of up that goal for me all the time. And I think that's what keeps me really sort of in the loop and still interested and still, excited about what I do. And it's prosperous because everybody's happy. To me, everybody's happy. So I've earned money. I always do that entrepreneurial little dance whenever I get a job. I love that. Right. And I've achieved
Yes.
my goals where I've given the client a great shoot with lots of content. And I've also achieved my goals of sort of upping my antics as a photographer and just being better the next time. Right. Every time I just want to be that little bit better. My trainer in the gym said to me, if you could be 1 to 3% better every workout, then you should be working out. And I thought, yeah, that applies to my life too. 1 to 3% better at everything you do. So don't take everything for granted or just be overly confident. Hey, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
can't take those
Yeah.
kind of people. I love people that just strive for more, for the finish. It keeps me alive. It keeps me wanting to go more. It keeps me in the game and enjoying it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think yeah, it's all tied together. you know?
Well, and to your point is that you always keep growing, you always keep evolving,
Yeah,
and you never stop being curious and how to deliver
yeah.
more, provide more, be
People
more,
can
show
dry
up
up. They
more.
they can burn
Yeah.
out. I mean, I
Hmm.
sort of burnt out in the events business, right? I try to take less of those jobs. They call me, I pick and choose which ones I like, and then I say, okay, I'm not busy that day. Otherwise, I say I'm busy. I'm so sorry I'm booked, but I'm not booked. But truthfully, this is really my passion right now. Personal branding, working with other women entrepreneurs. I've learned so much from other women recently, and I love to be able to, say, okay, we're all fighting the same battle. Like, how do you stay alive every day when you do this, business? So it's more than just being a photographer. It's also evolving in your business. It all takes time. It all
It
takes
does. It
time.
takes time. It does take time. You have to be patient, but as you said, always put a little bit more in where you can.
1 to 3% better every time, no matter how good you
I
are,
love
gal.
that. I'll quote it. I'm gonna
I
quote
know
it.
it's a good quote because honestly, you can just be like, sit back and it's like, yeah, I'm great. I could just take my camera, snap your picture. I know what I'm doing. Not really.
Yeah.
And then it's just
It's true.
boring. Like, what are you doing it
Yeah.
for? Just to make the money? Okay, well, like, go work some other job, right? I don't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't believe in work without passion. It doesn't
I don't
exist.
either.
Doesn't
And as soon as the
for me.
passion
For me.
wanes, either you inject more passion in what you do or you change what you do so you become more passionate.
Or you do things in your life if you're not passionate about your job but it
Yeah.
makes a good
Yeah.
living, whatever. Then what do you do with your life otherwise to fulfill those moments of happiness
Yes.
in your life?
It's
And
true.
how do you
It's true.
maintain sort of excited about things? as opposed to being, crusty and dry and get old and get boring and just, okay, I just want to watch TV, or I just, it's not me, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well, thank you again. Thank you,
thank you so much
guest.
for having me. I really
Yes,
appreciate it.
it's been really enjoyable.
Thank
Our
you.
next show will have another fabulous guest whose journey is sure to inspire you. You can listen to our Jump Into It podcast on your favorite platform. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, to name a few. With the courage and clarity to bring your ideas to life, be ready to jump into it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for having me.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Jump Into It. We empower business owners, marketers, and entrepreneurs to turn vision into momentum. Ready to supercharge your marketing? Grab the Jump Into Breakthrough Marketing Guide, available on Amazon and audiobook platforms. Cut through the guesswork and start building strategies that deliver real results. Join our expert-led training and breakthrough tools you can use right away. Tune into our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple TV for exclusive insights and inspiration. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. With the confidence and knowledge to bring your ideas to life, get ready to jump into it.